COVID-19 is an acute disease, acute epidemic, pandemic disease with rapid progression. For any rapid disease, we have to understand, or we have to consider the acute presentation. Any acute disease, we have to consider acute presentation. And for that acute presentation, we have to consider disease symptoms as well as diseased person symptoms, both into consideration. Now, when such cases are there, not only considering the individualized symptoms, but along with it, we must also consider the pathology which is going on in the body, in the system, to know the seat of the disease, to know the prognosis, in case if required, if we need to use auxiliary measures, and even for diagnosis. Though we do not treat the name of the disease, we do not treat by the diagnosis, but we should know the underlying pathology. We must know the seat of the disease. And as rightly said by our master in the first aphorism itself, we have to be the physician first and then the homeopath. It's a physician's high and only mission to restore the sick to health, to cure, as it is termed, what our first aphorism is teaching us. So we have to give importance to pathology as well. This novel coronavirus is affecting the body with numerous pathological changes. It affects blood vessels, producing vasculitis, causing coagulatory disorder, thrombosis, affecting lung tissue, damaging lung tissue, doing fibrotic changes, affecting pulmonary tissues, and then secondary to that, it affects the heart, causing infarct to multi-organs. And so it is a very important on our part to know various pathological aspects, various phases of this disease, what kind of pathology is involved. All this we must consider before we select the treatment. Second thing, when we are dealing with this type of acute cases, frequency of repetitions have to be fast to match up with the pace of the disease. Potency has to be selected depending upon the susceptibility of the patient, but normally medium to high potency will definitely show its efficacy in such type of disease. So this is basically a, you can say, a ground plan regarding homeopathic management. One more thing I would like to add, you must have seen that in my cases also, as we are perceiving acute presentation of the disease, when we are dealing with such type of acute epidemic or acute pandemic disease, the moment presentation changes, we at times need to change the prescription. So this is what I have learned with this. Symptoms of COVID-19, all of you know very well. There are so many symptoms, they are almost similar to that of any flu. So I'm not going into detail of that. There are few symptoms only that we should keep in mind that they will last long. Even the patient is recovered completely, but still certain symptoms, say for example, cough may last long, loss of smell and taste may last long, chronic fatigue syndrome, weakness. Many patients, they feel weak even after a month. Insomnia, it is very, very common post-COVID insomnia, and that lasts long. Even there is no symptom of COVID, but patient comes with this complaint. And many mental symptoms, fear, anxiety, apathy, indifference, irritability, fear, psychosis, depression. So these are the symptoms that we have to take care of. Homeopathic prescription. How to prescribe to the patient. As we have seen earlier, this is an acute disease. We must consider acute presentation of the case. This acute presentation of the case, we have to consider disease symptoms along with pathology and diseased person symptoms. That is, patient symptom. For disease symptom, we have to consider pathology and seat of the disease, stage of the disease. For patient symptom, disease person symptoms, we have to again consider individuality of the person through his generalities and particularities or peculiarities. Generalities can be measured by various aspects of his personal profile, like thirst, appetite, sleep, change mental attributes, his thermal state, perspiration, in case of female, menstrual history. Peculiarities or particulars with observation, which is very important. Tongue, pulse, auscultation, examination signs, type of breathing, especially if I'm talking of this case. So this is very important. Fever pattern. We have to observe this in our patients. And mind well, you can observe, your senses can observe only those things which your mind knows. You can only perceive those things which your mind knows. So prepare your mind to see all these things. Collectively, combine everything, individualize, frame a totality, and prescribe for your patient. In such acute case, quick selection of medicine is very, very important. It's of prime importance because the disease is rapid, progression is rapid. You cannot take more of time to select the medicine. You have to select the remedy very quickly on very important symptoms differentiation. And this, okay. So now let us go for certain cases. See, there are many patients, many cases, many students, even they ask guidance regarding their relatives, their family members about COVID. So telephonic guidance is we are giving. Out of all, I've selected here the cases which are having different perspectives. And in all these cases, because we are running with a limited time frame, in all these cases, detailed history is taken, but here I am showing you only those symptoms of the cases which have guided me for the prescription. But all detail we must take, and this is a prime priority. So let us now go for the first case. It's a case of Mrs. J. She consulted me on 20th of May. She is 34-year-old female. Her mother was already hospitalized for COVID. She has seen the allopathic treatment going on. Her mother was hospitalized. And again, this is another thing. When it comes that the patient is positive, the patient's mindset is fixed that if I am COVID positive today or tomorrow or later on, I have to get hospitalized. So that is again a hidden fear. Immediately that patient told me, sir, my mother is hospitalized. I am also positive, but she was not positive, but she felt the symptom. So she told me, sir, I don't want to be hospitalized. I am having a small daughter with me and I don't want to be hospitalized. Please do something. She has symptom of coryza and cold. There was no fever, no body ache. Feels little down in her appetite. She was not feeling that much hunger. And she was already asked to do RT-PCR and blood test by her GP, general physician. That practitioner already asked her that your mother is hospitalized and you are already showing the symptoms. So please go and get your blood test and RT-PCR done, which she has done. So on 20th, she consulted me, sir, with this symptom. Now let us see the progress. Investigation, blood report was there on 20th, same day, blood report came, blood report was showing CRP2 and LDH value 614. Rest all reports were normal. RT-PCR was not there. RT-PCR sample was collected and the report was not there. So this is another thing. From the symptoms and with the blood report, I sensed that definitely it is going towards positivity. She is definitely COVID positive. So we started treatment on the same day. I started her treatment on the same day. Her RT-PCR report came on 23rd. See, she came to me on 20th of May and RT-PCR report came positive on 23rd. CT value was 23. That I was not knowing on 20th when she consulted me. Her symptoms regarding the acute presentation were coryza, thin watery with sneezing, mild heaviness of head. She was feeling headache, but very mild. It was heaviness only, not headache. Loss of appetite, loss of smell, thirst, normal with dryness of throat. and thermally she was hot. These were the symptoms, these were the complaints. So on these symptoms, these were the qualitative symptoms which were enough for me to give or to select, though the complete detail was taken, but these symptoms have guided me towards the medicine. First was Netramur 30 in water 4 times. Why in water? Again, we'll discuss when we discuss the management. So Netramur 30 was given 4 times in a day in water. Along with that, I had given Ferrum Phos 12x. On that day, there was no fever, but we can't predict that the fever won't be there. So Ferrum Phos 12x was given and asked her, in case if she develops fever, then she can start this medicine. Why Ferrum Phos? Again, when we discuss the therapeutic part of COVID-19, I'll elaborate this particular part. So that was on the 20th. Netramur, only medicine along with Ferrum Phos as a stop. Same day, on the 20th itself, same day sneezing stop. On the next day, that was 21st, she felt better in Coryza. Now that Rani knows that flow is not there, better. That was next day, no fever. Ferrum Phos was just lying with her, sorry. No fever. I asked her to continue the same medicine. It was a second day, Netramur had shown its effect. I'd asked her to continue the same medicine. In the same way, same repetition. On 22nd, that is again the next day, better, no cold, no coryza, mild weakness, but it was not that weak that she had to lie down. So she was not feeling like lying on bed. Now the dose was tapered down to TDS instead of 4 times, because acute, when patient is feeling better, you do not stop the medicines as what our master has advised us. You always taper down the dose so that you make with the pace with the disease. So the dose was tapered down to TDS 3 times in a day. 23rd, next. Her RT-PCR came positive. Money wasted, but no complaint. So RT-PCR came positive. It was just jovial that no money was wasted. We must ask our patient to go through that, right? But many times patients say, when we see, this is a very on and off experience I do have with certain patients. When I ask them to go for laboratory investigation, and if no test comes positive, everything is normal, then many a times my few patients, they say, they are definitely arsenic mentality. They say, sir, you wasted my money, nothing came. So it is not actually a waste of money, it is rather to get clarity where we should reading. So on 23rd, her RT-PCR came positive with 23 CT value. But on 23rd, so the treatment which we have started from 20th, 22nd, sorry, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and on 23rd. So within 4 days, there was absolutely no complaint. But she was asked to monitor her temperature and oxygen. We continued Netram for total 6 days in tapering down the dose, and then patient was asked strictly to monitor her oxygen and temperature, and apart with that, other vitals. But for 10 days, it was normal and there was no other complaint. So here what we can learn: early diagnosis and early treatment. We were not knowing with the RT-PCR, only with the blood report and the symptom, we started the treatment. So this is the importance of knowing the case, the diagnosis early and starting treatment early, which will definitely prevent patients from future complications. So this is what is the case regarding early detection, early diagnosis of the case. Next is now another case I would like to cite. This is case of Mrs. A. She consulted me on 27th February. It's a case of 55-year-old female, diabetic since more than 6 years. She had symptoms of cold, mild lethargic, weakness. On further inquiry, she gave me the history that 6 days back, her relative visited her place from her native place, and that relative had mild cough. After 6 days, or before 6 days, that relative went back to her native. There the cough increased and she was detected COVID positive. So are you understanding? The patient who have visited this, the relative who has visited this patient, and 6 days back, when they went back, that relative came COVID positive, and that had made this patient alert that I might have caught the infection. So after 6 days, when again the symptoms started, that is what she has consulted me for: cold. There was runny nose, occasional sneezing, no fever, no body ache, no coughing, mild headache. On history taking, in case taking, it was observed that she feels thirsty but not taking large quantity of water. Thermally, she was definitely chilly. She was knowing that her relative was positive, so she was having this in his mind that I am probably, most probably, I am also positive, because these all symptoms she has experienced after that, after the contact of that relative. She consulted me on 27th of February. On 27th of February itself, blood report and RT-PCR and RAT was suggested. RAT was immediate, it was negative. Rapid antigen test was negative. Blood report, which was on the same day, which is showing other parameters are normal, but CRP is 40. Sample of RT-PCR was already given, but patient was little relaxed as her RAT is negative. Happy. On 28th, that is the next day, RT-PCR also came negative. So patient is more than happy. Doctor is not, because CRP is 40 with symptoms, with this epidemic going on. So let us see. On 27th itself, I have not waited for RT-PCR's report to come. On 27th, on the basis of the history, arsenicum album was started. Arsenicum album 200 was started every 4 hourly in water, frequently. On 27th itself, let us see what happened. Remember, on 28th, RT-PCR was negative. She has negative RAT, she has negative RT-PCR. On 28th, that is next day, patient was better in cold, but then coughing started. From upper respiratory, it has traveled down, it has descended. So coughing has started and some phlegm, mucus has started coming, expectoration, very little, but it has started coming. No fever, no other complaint. Because of cough, now she was anxious. And again, to give her some soothing effect, RT-PCR came negative. So again, she was little bit relaxed. But I was not, as I told you. Arsenicum has helped, but arsenic could not hold the patient. Coughing has started, and coughing was something like that of Entim dart. There was loose cough, there was phlegm which was coming, and patient is definitely not that much anxious like that of arsenic. So I have changed the prescription on this ground to antimonium arsenicosum. Medicine was changed to antim-ars 200 in the same manner, and I advised her HRCT. See, 6 days were already passed. She came to me on 27th, and with this, the disease pattern is in the progressive manner. So I advised her HRCT, which definitely she was reluctant. She had a valid point. Sir, why should I go for HRCT? I am not having fever. My RAT is negative, my RT-PCR is negative. And again, as I have told you, patients are reluctant to go for tests, because if you go for it, you will get it. She was reluctant, but I literally forced her that you must go and get your HRCT done. HRCT was done and the score was 15 by 25. This was done on first. First, she has done her HRCT. The score was this, means infection was definitely more. It has spreaded in lung. Still, first, no fever. Cough was better, but still there. With antimony arsenicum, antimars, cough was better, but cough was still there. Other tests were done along with the blood report, because in such cases we have to go for blood report every second day, every third day, depending upon the severity. She is a middle-aged lady, diabetic, so we cannot take chance. So tests were done and her D dimer was 1100. Again, a warning sign. She did not want to get hospitalized. Again, it's a big call for a homeopath. Whatever you want to do, please do. I don't want to go to hospital, because if I go to hospital, who will look after the house and family? She has this concern. But back of my mind, if this is again going to get worse, and then what will happen? It should not happen that you did not take decision rightly, and because of that your patient is suffering. I very strongly believe no pathy, or not to prove any pathy's efficacy, is beyond your patient's betterment. Please keep this in mind. It is your primary duty to help your patient. You don't have to prove your pathy. You are for your patients, not for your pathy. Please remember this. So again, I ask that patient that, suppose right now, okay, let us not take any call, let us not go to hospital, but if I do not, if the medicine, if it is not holding the case, we have to take other opinion, which she agreed. See, many times you have to be very clear with your patients. Ultimately, it should not happen that because of you, I did not ask anybody, or I did not take an opinion, and ultimately I'm in a trouble. So we have to be very clear with our patient that, this is what is the status and this can happen. So I ask the patient, and now considering this, patient is chilly, patient has cough, pneumonia, loose cough, patient is sympathetic, patient, even in this condition, patient is thinking about her family, patient is thinking about the house, who will do for them. Considering everything, with high D-dimer even, considering everything, I have changed the prescription, and I think on that day we have measured her oxygen. It was somewhere around 93 to 93, 94 on the same day. Yes, and I changed the prescription to phosphorus 200. See, you are seeing various medicines are changed, but see, when the acute presentation is changed, I'm not dealing with chronic case. When the acute presentation changes, and when the acute presentation gets changes in the so fast, rapid progressive disease, we cannot, this is my opinion, I cannot simply hold with one medicine, wait and watch. So I have to do something. The prescription was changed to phosphorus 200, and I told very clearly, if there is no improvement, we will definitely take other opinion. I don't want the reversible case to become irreversible because of my over enthusiasm. Oxygen level on that day was 93, 94. Phosphorus was given on first the day of HRCT itself. In the same evening, oxygen has increased from 93, 94 to the range of 95. A good sign. And cough was significantly reduced. I have now added Kali Mur 6x every 4 hourly in biochemic form. Why? Kali Mur has the capacity to prevent coagulation, and Kali Mur will also prevent fibrosis to take place. It has control over fibrous tissues formation. So Kali Mur was added considering high D-dimer. D-dimer can go high and can disturb and can turn the picture. But with every change, with every day, every 2 days, we used to ask our patient to check for the blood profile, and in that there was a regressive trend, and it was a happy moment. This weight was worth. On second, that was the next day, she was asked to monitor temperature, oxygen, all vital charts, and all COVID protocol she has to follow. Gradually her cough subsided. There was no fever at all. Now try to understand, this is the role diabetes has played. Rapid progression of infection without fever, without anything. We did not even see the severity of infection and the condition. the vital condition were not matching. It is diabetes which has played the role. And so we have to monitor, we have to keep a strict eye on all her vitals and her conditions. So she was asked to monitor temperature, oxygen, vital charts, and follow all protocols. We have asked her to go for blood report every 5th day then to see what is or anything is changing or anything is getting deteriorated. But luckily things were moving positively. Phosphorus was continued for 3 days and then it was tapered down to twice. Kali-Bhu was continued. Kali-Nur, I remember it was continued for almost 10 days. Phosphorus was reduced and then it was stopped after tapering down. She was definitely better in cough on 6th. Occasional bouts, 1 or 2 paroxysms, they used to come, and otherwise apart from that there was no other complaint. So this is another case which has taught me, first thing, you have to, many a times you have to take a call on behalf of our patient. For that we must look into the generalities, we must look into the vitality of the patient, we must look into the pathological profile of the case. Then and then only we can take a call whether we can wait or we have to take some immediate action.